pandemic. I'll take coronavirus for 100. Fever, chills, shortness of breath, loss of taste or smell. What is stay at home and isolate? Correct. Coronavirus for 200. Inability to stay awake, persistent pain or pressure in chest, trouble breathing. What is seek immediate help? Correct.
Coronavirus for 500.
Crippling and potentially dead infectious disease eliminated in the United States with vaccination.
What is the polio vaccine?
Correct.
I'll take coronavirus for 700.
The Daily Double! Should I take the coronavirus vaccine? Wait. Hold up. This is not a game. It's time for serious discussions. We have coronavirus vaccines, but not everyone is comfortable taking them. Here's the facts. Based on what has been proven about vaccines for other diseases, COVID-19 vaccine may help keep you from getting seriously ill, even if you do get the virus. Getting vaccinated also may protect people around, particularly those at greater risk for severe illness from COVID-19. We don't yet have all of the answers. Get informed, talk to your healthcare physician, and make the right decision for you. This is a message supported by the Washington State Department of Health.
What's on your heart? Are you exhausted at the lack of progress for people of color in business, politics, and life? This is Cindy Bright, the host of Heartbeat Radio. Each week, we explore this heart condition in the country that is affecting you and me. We have real conversations about what's necessary for change. Time to change this dialogue. Will you join this Heartbeat weekly, Wednesdays at 7 p.m. on Rainier Avenue Radio?
Kind of nonsense conversation we're having here.
The Neon Ghost Show. The Neon Ghost Show. Right here on Rainier. What's it? Rainier Avenue Radio.world.
Right about now.
Rainier Avenue Radio.world. I'm so tired. I have to pee.
Metro League High School football is back.
Tackles off to the races. He could go all the way. He could go. Touchdown.
The return of Metro League High School football, Friday and Saturday nights on Rainier Avenue Radio.
It's a stutter step inside, breaks a tackle. He's on the run. He's going to take it all the way. He's going to take it all the way on the sideline.
Exciting Metro League football live on Rainier Avenue Radio.world. It's back.
You are listening to Rainier Avenue Radio.world. Don't forget to log on www.rainieravenueradio.world.
Well, hello there, world. Bettina, Carey here, and we are live on Rainier Avenue Radio, where we help you to shatter glass ceilings, because we are meant to shatter glass ceilings, not just to merely break them through. If you've been looking for a way to shatter yours, you've come to the right place. Today's topic we're going to be talking about is the sign language of your body. You've heard about fight or flight, but have you heard about freeze? Are you stuck in trying to feel good, but nothing is not working for you? Well, your sympathetic nervous system may just be at the helm. With me today is Debi Waldeck. A little bit about Debi first before we get started. Debi Waldeck is called the Professor of Hope, Faith, and Happiness, but I like to call her Dr. Truth. Debi teaches you the sign language of your body and has been at the forefront of preventative health education for nearly 25 years, inspired by her own health diagnosis with an autoimmune disease and the subsequent effects of the medication on her unborn child. Debi's child was impacted by the medication and suffered for 7 years, during which time Debi invested over 10,000 hours looking for answers. Rather than giving up and letting her child spend a lifetime on medication, Debi uncovered key common denominators of imbalance within the body that contribute to most, if not all, diagnoses. And she is here today to share with us a little bit more about fight, flight, or freeze. Welcome, Debi. It's so great to have you here today.
Oh, wow. Bettina, I love that. Thank you so much. So good to see you. Look, I got my red on, just like you.
You sure do. You sure do. And you know, you're actually not airing from Seattle, but you and I met in Seattle. And so tell us a little bit about where you hail from these days.
So we lived in Seattle for 2 decades, raised our children there. And we ended up moving out here to Alabama while our son attends medical school at the University of Alabama, Birmingham.
And this is the same son that also had challenges because of you were on a medication that doctors didn't understand at the time could lead to some challenges for your child. And look at him. He's gone places where you never would have imagined.
Absolutely. And it's obviously the heart that I have is that it's so interesting. I've been, quote unquote, a health coach for nearly 30 years. And I don't consider myself a health coach at all. What is so interesting is, especially now, but you and I watching our world change over these last 3 decades, right? But there is such a place of uncertainty in so many areas around us. However, there is one area we can be certain, and that's knowing about ourselves. I found that. Thank you. What's that?
It's a good way to put it.
Yeah, I mean, think about that kind of a certainty. And so, in fact, that's what happens is a lot of the people who come to me have invested lots of money already in health programs or entrepreneurial programs. It's fascinating to me, and they just really want to get unstuck. And they're saying, why do I know better? Why do I know I know the mechanics of this, but I'm still stuck.
Yes. And, these days with COVID and other things going on and the length of time that folks have had to be either unemployed or losing a job or, managing to being working from home, it's put a lot of folks into a status of freeze frame as opposed to fight or flight. Tell us what you mean by that.
So if the listeners would let me for 10 seconds sound techie, but I promise this isn't technical at all. But it's really about our nervous system, right? Our nervous system. And in the nervous system, there's the part that I'm speaking of is there's 2 branches, what's called sympathetic nervous system or parasympathetic nervous system. The sympathetic nervous system is that one that gets stimulated if we're running from a lion or a tiger. But in our world, it might be somebody cuts you off on I-5 in Seattle or in I-90, right? And you feel that surge of adrenaline for a second, right? But unfortunately, what we don't realize is that nervous system is actually being turned on today because of so many things in our environment, our food, our culture, social media, really everywhere, but it's really turned on almost all of the time. And so when it's an either or thing, Bettina, it's either turned off and you are in the flow. That time when it seems like ideas come to you effortlessly, when you're in the flow.
Yeah.
And what's happening is a lot of people are struggling to feel that in the flow, or they might feel it for a second, but then this feeling of overwhelm comes. And I would say that the words that people say to me more than anything is, I just feel kind of frozen, And so actually that is part of the sympathetic nervous system, fight, flight, or freeze. Absolutely freeze. So I would say if you're out there and, you've sometimes felt that way, then there is, if you understand the sign language of your body, there's actually ways to find out, because there's no other way to know except for through, I think I am, right? I think, it's like I used to joke to everybody when I was a teenager, I had cystic acne. So I've been a biohacker for my whole life. And what I mean by that is you go to the doctor and there's not much they can do. They'll give you tetracycline or they'll give you Accutane. And I remember back then, Bettina, when I'm a teenager, it's like, I thought if I ate orange juice, citrus, it would break my face out. So I'd stop drinking the orange juice, right? And my face would clear up for 2 minutes, but then it would break out again. It's like, dang it, it wasn't the orange juice. Okay, maybe it's milk. Maybe it's the milk protein. And this is what we do. We're constantly trying to figure things out. The problem is we have so many variables coming at us at the same time. It's hard for the average person without a little bit of guidance to kind of figure out, wow, this is really this is hurting me or this is helping me.
Yes. And you've created this website called signlanguageofyourbody.com, and folks can go there and learn a little bit more about their body. And whether it's a neck pain or a back pain or shoulder pain or tiredness, this freeze moment is giving you information about what's going on inside your body. So what can folks learn on your website about using their body as an information source to move their life forward?
Bettina, I would say that at this moment, this website is about creating awareness around this conversation. Okay, because what I want people to know is you do not have to be a doctor or have degrees in biochemistry and physiology to understand the sign language of your body. In fact, most of the things that we're talking about are evident long before they show up in blood work. But there's a feeling, a mild feeling of dis-ease, just like something's not quite right. You know, it's almost like this, and I'm not going to go as far as anxiety, but an impending feeling of. So what we're doing at this moment is to really create an awareness, but we're also giving away information, like as an example, the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. How would you know really what is really revving you up in a good way or what's tearing you down in a bad way? Well, you guys, there's a little hack that you might not have known about. And this again is creating this awareness. And you can find it deep within your iPhone. You can also find it on your Android. If you have a Fitbit with Android, or if you have an Apple Watch with the iPhone, right? And so, for example, if you go into the health app on your iPhone, it's that white icon with a red heart, all right? Yep. And it's monitoring us all the time, right? Well, if you're also wearing a watch, what happens is you can go in there, Bettina, and at the very bottom, there's a little grid for browse. If you press the grid for browse, it'll show heart rate. You click on heart rate, but then it goes that deep little hack that few people know about just yet. And it shows what's called heart rate variability. HRV. Yeah, heart rate variability. Well, without getting too technical, the bottom line is that the lower that number is, the more you are in a sympathetic dominant state. And it's in that state that winning is hard, Bettina. Getting better is hard. Starting a new project is hard. And, it's measuring really the difference in between the beats of your heart. So, Bettina, you might go to the doctor and your heart rate's 60. But that doesn't mean your heart beat once every second over the 60 seconds. It was an average. And as we breathe in and breathe out, there's a variation in that heart rate. It speeds up and then it slows down as we breathe in and breathe out. Well, believe it or not, that number is supposed to be a pretty big number in terms of that variation. And when it is, we are in the flow. Our body's parasympathetic nervous system is dominant and we really are healthier. But the thing is, unhealthy doesn't quite show up for a long time that you're struggling in that sympathetic dominant nervous system. Your blood work isn't telling you that. Your doctor sadly isn't telling you this. But it's one little thing out of so many that at home we can start gauging if we start to understand ourselves, and we can set ourselves up to win.
Yes, that's interesting. I got a call just this morning from someone sharing that they were in a state of fear, and it took them weeks to figure out that they were in this state of fear that had turned into freeze, right? Yeah. And so they just noticed after weeks that their life was not where they wanted it to be. They weren't taking any chances. They weren't moving in the right direction that they wanted to be moving in. And they had gone from the fear into the freeze frame. I wonder what their heart rate variability would have been during this several-week period.
Very low. Yeah. And so it's measured in milliseconds, MS. You'll see this number. And again, we only have a short period of time, so we really aren't going to get into the technical, but it is higher when we're younger. It goes down when we're older. But when I learned about this and I saw where mine was, and then I was able to, with awareness, know, wow, I didn't realize doing XYZ activity really brought me down. I either need to change that activity or change my attitude about that activity. But the key, Bettina, is not about the stress at your job or your grumpy husband necessarily, or your unruly children. The most important part of what we're talking about here with the sign language of your body is that part of the message that's talking to the brain, that's revving up this sympathetic nervous system, is this body that's out of balance. And the body all day long, 24 hours a day, every second, it's saying, hello, help me, help me. And the brain is picking up on that, which is revving this up. And as I said, unfortunately, this stuff is going on way before you see your A1C up and the doctor says, oh, you're pre-diabetic, or way before your C-reactive protein is up and you're chronically inflamed. It's happening all day, every day. But guess what? We have an opportunity to really learn the sign language of our body and actually really seriously head some serious things off at the pass when it's manageable.
Yes, and let's talk a little bit about how you can, your brain is talking to you, right?
Yeah.
Your intuition is also talking to you.
Yeah.
And how folks can use that information to take right action. So walk us through that.
So it's interesting because I have had many clients, kind of don't trust their intuition. I even remember one lady saying, how do I know, for example, if you believe in God, is it me talking to me or God talking to me? How do I know what this intuition really is? That still, small, sweet voice. So I think an easy way to kind of explain it is that personal development has been around for now well over 100 years, way back to Zig Ziglar, Think and Grow Rich, to now Tony Robbins of the world, even Oprah and what she does, who of course is wonderful, Abraham Hicks and Esther. This is all fantastic. And what they're kind of telling you is if you think a positive thought, your brain literally emits a chemical of that thought, abundance, hope, right? And in time, your little cells develop receptors for that positive thought, and you become addicted to it. And all of a sudden, you're attracting abundance all around. And that's actually the science behind the book, The Secret, the movie, What the Bleep. And it's awesome, and it's true. But what hasn't been expressed until now, until literally now with sign language of your body, is all that is true. But what isn't being expressed is you're consciously, Bettina, attempting to manifest greatness with your dream boards and your I am statements and your goal statements and your visions and your plans.
Get out of my head.
Consciously. 5 minutes a day, 30 minutes a day, whether you are a master meditator, an hour a day. Good. But the other 23 hours a day, the body is still talking to the very same part of the brain where these peptides spit out. And they're literally intercepting, bisecting, hijacking that conscious thought, which is why some people feel seriously stuck because they know what to do. But, just look at COVID. We were all in a big state of uncertainty. The average American gained, 24 pounds, 29 pounds in the year 2020. And so it's interesting is because when the person feels that moment of inspiration, that moment of motivation, and then they don't understand how the body is talking to the mind, and they feel that freeze, but they're not sure how to interpret that. What do? Usually they'll want to comfort themselves. Comforting sometimes can be eating the wrong thing, drinking too much alcohol, maybe sleeping in too late, drowning yourself in, what is it when you binge watch television? And it's that frozen part that if you don't understand this and learn the language of your body while working with this conscious mind, when you do them both together, several things happen, Bettina, but I think my most favorite is when you really begin to understand all the variables that have gone into why you are where you are now, and all those reasons that you're beating yourself up for. I should have done this. I should be further along. I knew better. Yeah. But when you begin to truly understand all those variables, I'll tell you, when you start going easier on yourself and you realize, wow, I had no idea how many things kind of were coming against me, whether it's unconscious memories, inherited fears, your microbiome, right? There's so many things that have come into play, and this lay person who doesn't even understand our blood work, is somehow supposed to figure all this out by themselves.
Yes. You know, I have a saying, and it goes like this: stop scaring yourself. Because oftentimes I'm at the helm. I'll scare myself into, oh, you know, I could get in a car accident. Oh, I could have something happen in my business. Oh, you know, it's like I'm onto myself, and it's like, stop that. You're scaring yourself. Stop that. You're freezing. You don't want that in your life. So I love that you have the wisdom. And, you know, as I was reading your bio, I was reading that you spent 10,000 hours just figuring out what was going on with your son. And I've known you for well over 20 years or somewhere in that neighborhood. And so you must be on to like 50 or 100,000 hours of learning and education. So how can folks get a hold of you, Debi, and to tap into you and what you're doing here to help and support folks?
You know, the best and easiest way right now is to go to the sign language, not www.signlanguageofyourbody.com, signlanguageofyourbody.com. And there is enter your name and email, and you'll get a sign language chart. And again, it is just the beginning of an awareness. I'd love to offer the listeners, when they register, not only would they get a sign language body chart, but also we'll send you what we call these little cheat sheets. So, you know, imagine a playing deck, Bettina, with 52 playing cards, ace of spades, right? 2 of diamonds, so on and so forth. But imagine that same size card, but you get a little cheat sheet, a little thing I can check at home that can tell me, it's like directing you where to go. So you're no longer guessing. We work, for example, around blood sugars. And I'll say, for example, you know, everybody, I mean, the weight loss industry is a multi-billion dollar industry. And today it's keto and it's paleo, it's Atkins, South Beach, Jenny Craig, you know, we go on. And you wonder why, if there was something so good, would we not have resolved this issue? And the answer is they're all great. For anybody who's a fan of any one of those, they're all great, but they're never all great for everybody, because each and every one of us are different.
Right.
And so, Bettina, as an example, you know, you said, 10,000 hours I spent finding out that whether you have asthma, allergies, eczema, anxiety, ADHD, depression, bipolar, there's consistently the same 3 common denominators of imbalance in your body. You guys, 3 common denominators of imbalance in your body at the root of 90% of diagnosis today. And we never talk about that. We're so right now concerned, for example, with the pandemic. We're not looking at the epidemic in front of our face, where there's, for example, 151 autoimmune diseases, because we put each one in its own bucket. The asthma bucket, ADHD bucket, my OCD child bucket. Well, guess what? They all have the same common denominators. And so going deeper with that, when I saw, for example, weight loss industry, and I myself was teaching what I was taught to teach, but I saw that it didn't work for everybody. And so we started looking at their blood sugar response. And guess what? Whether it's keto versus zone, they're all the same. You're eating protein, fat, and carbs. The difference in those diets is one has different percentages of protein and fat to carbs than the other. And you know what, Bettina? Your body needs a specific ratio. My body needs a specific ratio. And what we tend to do is jump diet to diet to diet. We might land on one accidentally and it works for us. We tell the whole world, this is the gold standard. And their sister tries it and she's crying because it didn't work for her.
Yeah. I for one, like I have to have lots and lots of protein. Yeah. And when I have lots and lots of protein, my weight drops. You know, right now I've been having a lot more of not protein, and so my weight has come up. So I'm headed to my mother's in December to do a weight loss program here. I got about 10 pounds to lose.
Well, let me send you along my papers, and you can test yourself and know exactly what ratio of macronutrients, protein to fat to carbs. You'll know whether zone is best for me versus keto versus, anyway, that's what's in the papers. Easy stuff. But I encourage people, just go to Sign Language of Your Body. As soon as I get your email, I will send you those kinds of that information. And anybody can do it. A child can do these tests if you know what to do and what it means.
Yes, that's great. And you're also a member of the We Empower You community. Of course, I'm the founder of that community. And your website is structured so that you offer to our members an even deeper dive into your work. And you provide, I believe it's 6 modules. Tell us a little bit about, real quick, you have about 1 minute here on membership with the We Empower You community and what your offer is in that community.
Well, I believe in the We Empower You summit and community because a lot of us are shifting what we're doing, our jobs, our careers, or this or that. There's a huge entrepreneurial push. And the membership provides it's a business in a box with anything you can imagine all the way around it for such a modest fee. And I mean, everything, your whole website, the hosting, the marketing, it's everything. And within it, part of the gift, to increase the value for you is I have included the first part of my Body Mind Blueprint program. And that's a program I actually work with clients with, which walks you week by week, step by step about learning not only about your physical body and what little things mean, little signs and symptoms with tests in black and white, but then also how that's affecting not only your emotion, but you mentioned, Bettina, intuition, and I'm telling you, here's the way I'll finish with this. Mm-hmm. The more dis-ease you feel, that's the best way I can put it. The more dis-ease you feel, essentially, that is how far you are in this present moment from your true, authentic soul that knows you are meant to be wealthy, healthy, and rich with peace of mind.
Oh, I love that. That's a wonderful way to end the show here today. It's been so great to have you, Debbie. And again, what's the website folks can get a hold of you at?
www.signlanguageofyourbody.com.
Great. Thank you so much, Debbie, for sharing your wisdom with us and for having such a valuable resource as your website. Next up is God is Inspiration. I'd love it if you all join me again next Thursday and every Thursday, 1:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Bye for now. We'll see you next time. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Ask most anyone if they feel empowered in all areas of their life. If they're honest, they'll likely say no. Hi, I'm Bettina Carey, and I may be only 4'9½", but what I do is big. Dream big, break through, and connect to powerful people like you. And what I'm doing is inspiring and empowering others to break through, shatter their revenue glass ceiling. And I'm here to tell you that the We Empower You community is where you're going to want to be. It's a community. It's a membership. It's a movement. And what we're doing is helping you to start and run your online business without doing a thing. We're helping you to find angel investors that you don't have to pay back, to run your own membership program where you don't have to do the work, and so much more. We are here to empower you at the We Empower You Global Summit and the WeEmpowerYourLife.com. Visit us on the web at WeEmpowerYourLife.com or text the word Bettina to 555-888. We'll see you at the summit.